When your launch flops and your audience is huge, over 10K, highly engaged, they show up everywhere for you, but your business friend has a smaller and less engaged audience, and their launch goes way better than yours. And I'm talking 6 and 7 figure launches versus you stuck underneath 100K. We've got to start asking a different question. There's something going on here. And I have been talking to a lot of coaches and course creators. As a matter of fact, I've had 2 conversations specifically that I'm thinking about in the last, 4 or so weeks, where this has come up, where they've been in situations and are still kind of wrestling with the reality that they have a significant engaged audience and their launches do not reflect that community that they have spent years building, all of the effort, all of the work that they have put in to really successfully engage their people, get their people talking back to them, and get their work out into the world. So if this is you today, stick around because I want to share with you the things that I'm seeing so that you know that, hey, this is not a you alone in the world struggling with this kind of problem. One. And two, I also want to share with you something that I built to address it. All right, y'all. So here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing coaches and course creators and just anyone with an offer that was performing well for quite possibly months and years before now, right? Currently stuck in a situation for the past 6 months, 8 months, possibly even a year and a half, where that previously performing offer is now in a position where it's not performing. That's the first thing I'm seeing. I'm also seeing these folks with highly engaged, very significantly sized audiences. I'm talking about anywhere between 10K and all the way up to 50K or more. I've talked to a couple coaches with 50K plus audiences in the past several weeks. And they both told me the conversations I'm thinking about, they both told me the same thing. And it's very clear when you look at their social media accounts. Their people show up for them. They will do a masterclass, their people will be there. They will have a video on YouTube, have a podcast, they will be in their email, their people will show up. Their like top and middle of funnel data is locked in, bruh. The registration rates, solid. The show up rates, solid. But when we get to the bottom of the funnel, that's where the problem begins. Because every single time they launch, we're talking less than 1%. And this is less than 1% of the people who even showed up to the launch event that they hosted, whether that's a challenge or a masterclass or something else. Much more 1% of their entire audience. They don't even get that, bro. And so these coaches, these course creators, these folks with previously high performing offers that are now in this position, when I speak to them, they are deep in frustration. And frustration to the point of like infuriation almost. And they're stubborn, so they're gonna keep going at it. But it's also a situation of like, my back is against the wall, I'm due a launch. And this has been the trend for 6 or more months, all the way up to a year and a half. And I am not interested in doing my next launch and repeating the same problem. So something has got to change. And so they're feeling that frustration of, I put in the work, I show up, I have my podcast and it goes live every single week with new episodes, multiple times a week, quite possibly. I show up on social media, I have my YouTube channel, I'm filming like crazy, I am doing the work. I have funnels in the back end of my business. I have an email list that receives newsletters from me every week. I am checking all the boxes. I'm showing up in Active Campaign or Kit. I am showing up on Instagram. I am in the back end of Meta. I'm an ads manager. I'm doing the work, right? I'm in Funnel Gorgeous or Go High Level. Everything is set up. All the funnels are like checking all the boxes that I've been told need to be checked. And not just I've been told by like my general sort of education because I've been in this space for a while, but because I've hired experts to look at what's going on here. I've hired copywriters, and this is what these coaches, these course creators are telling me, right? They've told me that I've hired copywriters, I've hired marketing strategists, I've hired funnel gurus, I've hired all the people, and we have yet to fix this problem. And I'm just like, yo, I feel you. I feel you. I'm like, there's a smile on my face, but like, this is frustrating. This is deeply infuriating, particularly because the folks that they hire are telling them, hey, we're going to do another full on launch. And this is the strategy that they were testing. And a full on launch, just for context, for those of you who have not been in this situation, 3 to 6 months of planning and execution, right? And so not only are they infuriated because they're not seeing results and they're putting in the work, they're also infuriated because they feel like they're losing time, right? Because that's 3 to 6 months of time. They're losing money because they've hired these folks, and these are not cheap investments. These are they're 5K, 10K, 15K or more, right? And they're losing momentum because they're like, I should have been further along by now. And that's the other element of this that just feels so demoralizing for these coaches is the thought process that my peers do not have the community that I have built. They do not have the consistency. They don't have the community, they don't have the consistency, but they have the conversions that I don't have. And they're like, what, what, what? How 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 did this happen? How did I get here? And furthermore, how do I fix it? And there's this sort of I don't know if y'all have ever felt this before, but I have been in this situation where I have seen the results that I have helped people accomplish. I have seen the evidence of how good I am and how my work impacts people's lives and businesses. And when I look at my own business, I do not see that same kind of result. And I say to myself, I should be further along than I am. Why am I not there yet? And me personally, I know the answers to those questions. I've come to the answers to those questions in the past year and a half, and more are, I'm changing systems, I'm changing habits, I'm changing the way that I work to address those things. I have an answer. If you are a coach or a course creator in this position, you don't have an answer yet. And I feel that. I get you. And that sort of, it's not necessarily like a hit to your identity because you know you're damn good at what you do, but it is a hit to your sort of energy to keep moving forward. That momentum that I'm talking about, that's the thing that takes a hit because you are so demoralized that you're like, okay, so is this even worth it? I mean, it's worth it, and I'm not going to do anything else. This is it for me. But also, I don't want to repeat the same mistakes. And right now, it just looks like I'm stuck in a loop of like hiring people, them trying to fix the problem, us seeing a smidge of results, and then going back to the same exact thing. And there's no sort of forward progress. And so instead of feeling buoyed by your audience showing up for you, by sales coming in, by serving people, you are feeling like you're dragging a load on your back all the way to the finish line. Like you're slugging through, you're pushing through. You don't have the energy. You're operating on pure willpower right now. Everything is clenched. Everything is clenched, pushing through, grinding it out, trying to get to that finish line, which is higher than 1% conversion. Real results that reflect the consistent community that you have shown up for months and years. Real results that look similar to or better than where you are coming from, because this course used to do really damn well. This coaching offer used to do exceptionally well, right? Real results that reflect your heart for your people, the way you show up every single day, your consistency, right? Real results that reflect the community that actually loves you and sees results from everything you share, whether it's podcast, newsletter, launch event, whatever it looks like. And so that energy that's supposed to be carrying you right now is not carrying you, and you're like pushing it. You're pushing it and you're stubborn. So you're going to keep going. You're not going to stop. Which I see you. I see you, sis. You're not going to stop, right? Because you're stubborn like that. However, at the same time, there's got to be a clear answer to this problem. There's got to be some kind of a solution. You cannot stay stuck here. You need to see results. And you don't need another person that you have to pay 5K or more. And you don't need a strategy that is going to take you another 3 to 6 months to prove whether or not it will work. Maybe it'll work. We don't know. Right? And that's not what the people you hire tell you. They tell you it's going to work. But you do the work that they tell you to do, and you kind of see a switch of results, but then everything falls apart and there's no real progress here. So, if you've been nodding along to everything that I've been saying, this is why I created Beyond 1% 3 weeks to ROI. Because I know that this is not where your effort and energy, this is not what you have earned. This result is not what is equivalent to what you show up and put in every single day. It's time for you to get equivalent results. It's time for the evidence of your consistency to match the evidence of your bank account. Yeah? And so that's why I created Beyond 1%. Because I want you to break through this 1% conversion ceiling that you have, that you're stuck underneath. I want to help you break through that in as little time as possible with proven validation that, okay, this system works for me. This offer, this messaging, this strategy works for me. And the way that this is structured is it's designed to get you validation in a short amount of time, right? We're not going to be doing a full-on 3-month launch prep planning execution situation. We're going to be doing private selling, testing messaging for an extremely short period of time. And we're going to be proving that this messaging works to get results before you commit to a full-on launch. And we're going to be doing all of that for less than $2,000. Because I don't want you to have to spend thousands and thousands to prove whether something works. So here's how this all happens, right? What you walk away with is a done-for-you 7-day email sequence. It's going to get you privately selling to the people in your community. And we are going to get their immediate feedback on what you are selling. We're going to get their words. We're going to hear their thoughts. We're going to dive into why they are buying or not buying from you, all from these private sales conversations. So if sales conversations are not what you feel confident with, if you want to sell straight from a checkout page, this is not the offer for you. Cool? I'm going to just let you know that. We're going to be talking to your people. We're going to be sending out surveys. If you have a problem with surveys, this is not the offer for you. Okay? But if you are ready to lean into your people and let them steer this ship, because you've hired enough people to try and steer this ship for you and you've gotten nowhere. So if you are ready to lean into your people and let them steer this ship, let them be your momentum that moves you forward, Beyond 1% is the offer for you. I'm going to hand you that 7-day email sequence. All you have to do is schedule it and send it out and get into those sales conversations with people. And if at the end of that time, what we are seeing is that people are not responding to this messaging and this strategy, here is my guarantee. I will give you 2 additional 7-day email sequences to test anytime you want as a complimentary another round of this process as a complimentary deliverable as a part of this process. That is my guarantee. You get 2 additional rounds of this whenever you want. Why am I doing this? Because, as I said, I do not want you in a position where you have to be expending time, energy, and money for an extended period to try to get an answer about whether or not this is the scalable strategy and messaging that you need to do a full-on launch and get beyond 1%. Because that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for what strategy will we be able to scale? What messaging will we be able to scale beyond this 1% ceiling that you're stuck underneath? What messaging will break us through that? That's the question that we're answering. It's essentially a validation question, right? It's validating the messaging, validating the way that we talk about this offer in front of the people who are most likely to say yes to you. And so if it doesn't work in front of those people, you know it's not going to work in front of your audience, so it doesn't even make sense to run a launch with that messaging. But if it does work, then we know it's very highly likely to convert a significant portion of your audience. Because this is why too, I'm specifically targeting this towards people who have large, highly engaged audiences, is because they have a huge segment of that audience that's warm that they have not yet tapped into. They have a huge segment of that audience that loves them, but are not buying. And so there's a gap that needs to be filled there. Their audience is not a largely cold audience, right? There's a significant portion, quite possibly 20 to 40% of people in that audience who follow and show up for them, but they haven't bought. We need to figure out what we have to say and how we have to say it in order to help them see that this is the next best thing for them. And the only way to do that is to let them tell us. No strategist, no service provider, no consultant that you can hire can give you the answer to that question without talking to your people. 1. 2, even when they do talk to your people, they can't guarantee that it'll work. I can't guarantee that this messaging, whatever I come up with, will work for you. And so my guarantee, instead of telling you that this will work and promising you results like everybody else on the internet right now, everybody else telling you, hey, Chelsea, let's put myself in your shoes. Hey, Chelsea, this is what you need. This is what's going to fix it. And then you pay them $5,000 or more and you spend 3 months working on this thing and you launch it. And it turns out this messaging and this strategy was not scalable, but you did not know that because we didn't take the time to actually validate it. And you didn't have a system that you could trust to get that validation in as minimal time as possible. That's what I want to give you. I want to give you a process that gets you that validation in as little as 3 weeks, gets some cash flow in the door, gives you some extra energy, right? Gives you some of that momentum that you've lost back, and proves to you this messaging, this strategy that we're using, this is scalable. This will work. And so then you have so much more confidence to then say, cool, we're launch ready. Let's go. This launch is going to be different, baby. This launch is going to have the evidence that I show up proven in my bank account. This launch will be the launch that I have the community, the consistency, and the conversions. This is going to be the launch. We can't determine that if we ain't got no validation. I can't say that to you confidently. And anyone that does, put it this way, anyone that does say that to you confidently, that they can guarantee that this system will work for you, they must either have some very tight qualifiers that you have checked every single box and they have proven their system across all of these qualifiers. And when I say qualifiers, what I mean is you have the exact to a T characteristics of every single person who has used their system in the past, so they know this will work for you. And if they don't have that, if you go into a hiring conversation with somebody and they don't have that kind of tight list of qualifiers, they can't talk to you about all the other people they've worked with that have fit those qualifiers and the results that they've gotten, but they are also promising you results on top of that when they don't have that qualifying system, that qualification system. Red flag, massive red flag. Because what they're promising you, they are not going to be able to deliver. It's going to waste your time, it's going to waste your money, it's going to waste your energy, and you're going to lose the momentum the little teeny tiny bit of momentum that you currently have. We don't want that. We do not want that. By the way, I just realized I didn't say this is a one-to-one done for you intensive offer. So this is not like a group situation. I will be doing these one-to-one in case that wasn't clear. So if you are ready to find a scalable solution, if you are ready to identify what messaging and what strategy is going to give you the launch that actually you know that you've worked hard to achieve, you know that you should have had by now. If you are ready to break through your 1% conversion ceiling that you've been stuck under for way too damn long, Beyond 1% is here and ready for you. As I said, my guarantee is this: if we in that first round of this pre-validation process do not show that this messaging and this strategy is the scalable solution to your problem that you're looking for, I'll take you through it 2 more times whenever you're ready. I'll give you those 7 emails fully complimentary whenever you're ready so that you can test on your own. All right? All right, y'all. So, as I said, if you've been nodding along to all of this, Beyond 1% is ready for you. I'm going to put the link here in the description box so that you can go ahead and grab that if you would like it. If you have questions about Beyond 1%, if you want to know exactly how the process works, if you want to know more about my guarantee, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. The link to my Instagram is in the description box, and my DMs are always open. I will answer any questions that you have happily. I will get on Zoom with you if that's something that you would prefer as well. So that's fully available to you too if you have any questions about this. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope I see you inside Beyond 1%. The link is available, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.